Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Mini Books Podcast with your host Gloria and Rogan, and today we are excited to dive into Special Book with you. We picked this one because it has really important lessons to share and we can't wait to talk about them. So let's get started.
Ever feel like you totally choked in a negotiation?
Yes.
Like I walked away and was like, ugh, I could have gotten so much more if I just...
Oh yeah, happens all the time, right? But what if I told you there are like these battle-tested strategies straight from, to this, FBI hostage negotiators.
Hostage negotiations. Whoa, okay. We're talking life or death, holding your breath kind of stuff.
Yeah.
What can we possibly learn from that?
So that's what's wild. Today, we're diving into this book, Never Split the Difference, by this former FBI lead hostage negotiator, Chris Voss.
Okay.
Yeah, this guy, he's dealt with like hardcore international kidnapping cases, the most intense situations, and his book says the FBI's approach, way more effective than all the like traditional business school stuff.
More effective. Really? Come on, business schools, they teach this stuff, right?
Yeah, but they mostly focus on logic and reason, right? Finding common ground. We can call that like system 2 thinking.
System 2.
Exactly. Voss, though, he's like, hold up, what about emotions? That's the system 1 stuff. And that, man, that's powerful.
So it's not just what you say, it's how you make the other person feel.
Exactly. We make decisions based on emotion all the time, even when we think it's like super logical and rational, right?
That makes sense.
So Voss gives us this framework to tap into both.
Okay, I'm intrigued. But how do you actually do that? Influence someone's emotions?
Right.
Like in the middle of, say, a salary negotiation.
Well, that's where it gets really interesting. Voss has a whole bunch of techniques.
Okay, so spill the beans. What's the first tool in this FBI hostage negotiation toolkit?
All right, so one of Voss's most like mind-blowing tactics, it's called mirroring.
Mirroring. Wait, is this like staring in a mirror for hours on end?
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure my schedule allows for that.
No, not that kind of mirroring. This is about repeating the last, say, 1 to 3 words someone says.
Seriously. That's it. Just repeating their words. How does that even work?
Think about a time when you felt like someone was truly listening to you, right? Like really heard you.
Okay, yeah.
It probably wasn't when they just agreed with you. It was when they reflected back your feelings, made you feel understood.
Okay, yeah. It's about making that connection, showing them you're actually listening, not just waiting for your turn to talk.
Bingo. Mirroring taps into that deep human need for validation. It's powerful stuff.
Okay, so it's about building that rapport.
Yeah.
What about when things get a little heated, like someone is straight up angry? What then?
That's where labeling comes in. This is where you just call out the other person's emotions, even if they're negative.
So instead of telling someone to calm down when they're angry,
Yeah.
you're saying it's okay to be angry.
Yeah. Instead of calm down, there's no need to be upset, you say something like, it sounds like you're really frustrated. You're validating their feelings without agreeing or disagreeing.
So you're creating a sense of safety, and that kind of disarms them a bit.
Exactly. Think about it. They're upset, they might not be thinking straight, and then suddenly, bam, someone comes in and basically says, hey, I get it.
Wow, that is pretty powerful. This is fascinating. Mirroring, labeling, adding these to my negotiation toolkit as we speak. What else have you got?
Voss also talks about the power of calibrated questions. And no, this isn't just about asking yes or no questions. We're talking about open-ended questions that gently guide the conversation.
So you're still kind of steering things, but in a way that doesn't feel pushy.
You got it. So let's say you're at a standstill in a negotiation, right? Instead of making demands, you ask a calibrated question like, what would it take for us to move forward? Or how can we find a solution that works for both of us?
So it's not, I need this. It's more, how do we make this happen?
Exactly. And you know what? It often leads to way more creative solutions. Voss has this great story about a guy who's trying to get on this overbooked flight.
Oh, man. I knew that feeling. The gate agent's like, sorry, no seats left. And you're stranded. What did he do?
Instead of arguing with the gate agent, he just asks, how am I supposed to get home? It's brilliant, right?
Yeah.
That simple question forces the gate agent to see things from his perspective. And guess what? He ends up getting a first-class seat on the next flight. Sorry to interrupt you guys. If you're enjoying this podcast, then don't forget to check out our official YouTube channel, Mini Books Podcast, and subscribe for more great podcasts like this one.
Okay, so we've talked about mirroring, labeling, calibrated questions.
Right.
All these techniques, they seem really good for building rapport and steering the conversation in a good direction.
Yeah.
But what about saying no in a negotiation?
Yeah.
Is there ever a time and place for that? Or is that just like a recipe for disaster?
That's such a good question because Voss, he really flips the script on this one.
Okay.
He says no is not the enemy.
Interesting.
He actually thinks no can be like this gateway to a way better negotiation.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
A no can actually lead to a better outcome. How does that work?
Well, when you think about it, when someone says no, they're setting a boundary, right? They're not necessarily rejecting the whole deal.
Right.
Voss says no can actually create some psychological safety
Okay.
because it gives the other person a sense of control.
That makes sense because when you feel pressured to say yes, you're kind of like, no way, I'm out.
Totally. So saying no helps people drop their guard a bit.
Uh-huh.
It shows you're not trying to back them into a corner.
Yeah.
And then they're much more open to hearing what you have to say.
So instead of being terrified of no, we should be looking at it as a chance to really understand where the other person's coming from.
Exactly.
It's about figuring out what's behind the no.
Yes. And sometimes that no can lead to these unexpected breakthroughs.
Sure.
Voss talks about this in his own journey to becoming an FBI hostage negotiator, right? So when he first went to Amy Bondurant, she was the head of the FBI's crisis negotiation unit. She straight up told him, go away and volunteer at a suicide hotline.
Oh, wow. Talk about a no.
Right. But obviously, it didn't stop him.
Clearly not.
It actually, pushed him forward.
Huh.
That no forced Voss to get some seriously important experience.
Yeah.
And in the end, it led him to his dream job.
Wow, I love that.
It's like these seemingly impossible no's can actually put you on a better path.
Totally. Okay, so speaking of unexpected things, you mentioned this other concept, black swans.
Oh, yeah.
One of those.
So black swans are these hidden pieces of information that totally change a negotiation.
Oh, okay.
They can make it or break it.
So how do we find these black swans? Do I need to, hire a detective?
No. They're usually right there in front of you. You just
Okay.
need to ask the right questions.
Okay.
Voss gives this crazy example of a hostage situation where the negotiator just casually asks the kidnapper, how do I know she's all right? Talking about the hostage, of course.
Right.
Seems like a pretty normal question, right?
Yeah, in that situation, totally.
But guess what? The kidnapper puts the hostage on the phone.
Whoa.
So that simple question accidentally revealed something huge. The kidnapper needed to prove the hostage was safe.
Wow. So the negotiator, he didn't even know about that beforehand.
Nope.
It just came out from asking a question.
Exactly. It just goes to show how important it is to listen closely, ask the right questions, and be ready for anything.
This has been incredible. I feel like we've only just scratched the surface of, negotiation mastery.
There's so much more to learn.
For our listeners who want to dive even deeper, maybe even uncover a few black swans of their own, I highly recommend checking out Chris Voss's book, Never Split the Difference.
It's packed with insights and tools you can actually use.
Totally. And as you're exploring these techniques, just remember, negotiation, it's not about being manipulative.
Not at all.
It's about understanding each other,
Yeah,
building that connection, and finding solutions that work for everyone.
absolutely.
This has been amazing. So insightful. Thank you so much for taking us on this deep dive.
It's been my pleasure, really.
Until next time, everyone, remember, we can all be master negotiators.
Thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this conversation and want to dive into more book insights and key learnings, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, Mini Books Podcast, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. We're back every Sunday at 9 a.m. with new books and more to learn from. Until next time, take care, keep learning, and keep growing. Remember, this is Mini Books Podcast.